So fuck yes. Welcome to After the Hype. I'm your host, always Brian Dressel. With me, as always, is Jonathan Hardison.
I'm here.
CHEWIE Darso.
Yo.
Emily Blake's not here, but Elliot Campos is.
Hey.
And then we have special guest Elvis Kunesh.
Howdy.
I don't know why Elliot is not a special guest, but I think it's because he's
He's
sitting...
on next week. He doesn't. He can be special guest then.
Yeah, well, he wasn't then either.
Ouch. You know, I've always considered myself the second-rate Emily Blake. And
Well, there
I'm
you go.
glad that now we have audio proof of it.
You're even wearing her headphones.
Yeah, they feel so nice.
Against his skin.
Yeah.
Elliot, I'm not sure if Emily's going to appreciate that. We're just going to hope she doesn't listen to this one.
Don't worry, I'll take them home with me and make sure that they are serviced.
Alrighty, God.
Previews for next week. Okay, so Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, right.
Christmas.
This
Yeah.
is a Christmas episode.
This is our Christmas
and a
episode.
Happy New Year.
That's next week.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Sure.
Happy Hanukkah.
Is that still going?
Happy winter solstice.
I'll take that one.
There's no snow.
Hanukkah's still going.
By the time this comes out, is it?
Well, no.
That's what I thought.
Happy post Hanukkah.
Is that a holiday?
Sure.
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. It's
where you
podcast Hanukkah.
You light the candles with your pot. I don't know.
I said pod, not pot.
You said potica.
Welcome to the worst
Oh.
game of telephone ever played. In podcast form.
How about Where Have You Been Doing? I saw The Babysitter on Netflix. It is a movie starring Bella Thorne and a bunch of people I don't know, except for Robbie Amell. Is that a poll that even Elliot doesn't know? Did I get one?
I know
That
Robbie,
is
yeah.
Firestorm.
Fuck.
It is.
He can't escape this guy. He knows
He was
everything.
also in...
Was that a pun intended? Escape ELL?
Oh, yes.
that body shaming movie I just forgot the name of.
Jennifer's body shaming
No.
movie?
Shallow Hal?
No. It's that movie about the ugly sister, not sister, ugly friend, and how you have one in every group.
Like the
Classic.
Hottie and the Naughty?
Oh, the Mae Whitman movie. The
Yeah,
Duff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He was in The Duff.
Forgot about that. But no,
Everybody
the Babysitter, it's a Mick G movie, but it's Mick G doing his best James Gunn impression. That'll make sense when you watch it, but it definitely feels like that. It's not bad. I just kind of thought it was going to go a little more crazy than it does, and it's already kind of crazy, but like based on the trailer, like I thought it was going to go like full on like demon storming the house crazy, and it never goes quite that far. It's just kind of super violent, but in the lieu like for comedy. And it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's totally worth watching if you don't want to. Like if it piques your interest, you'll enjoy it. If it doesn't, skip it.
Sounds like a Netflix original movie.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it hits all the proper chords of a Netflix original movie. Not documentary. Their documentary is actually pretty good, but their movies are so far. I haven't seen Okja yet, but I've been told I'll really like Okja.
That one's good.
I like Doctor.
Yeah, I'll see it eventually. But Babysitter is okay. That's it for me, though.
All right, I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't had a chance to do much watching or anything. I did download and test out the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp game, that free-to-play Animal Crossing game, and it was fun. I mean, I'm already done with it. Like, played it for like a day or two. Never reached the limits of whatever the free-to-play thing was, and didn't know what to do with all the crickets and butterflies and all that, so having no real experience with it, it was fine.
You can eat crickets and chips. They're
Fine.
called chirps.
Chirps, okay.
You can buy them on Amazon or in stores.
Interesting.
They're gross.
I believe it.
Actually, they're not as bad as you think they are, but it makes your tongue feel fuzzy, which is not what you want from food.
I didn't get that feeling, so I was starting to wonder whether or not Brian was allergic to crickets.
I might be allergic to crickets,
Huh,
which
interesting.
sucks for the future.
Yeah, you wouldn't do very well in Animal Crossing if you were in it itself. Like, you'd have problems.
Fun. CHEWIE, what about you? Did you see a really big movie? Like
I might have seen a really big movie.
like a really important one?
Where I didn't really do much. I recently saw Last Jedi.
What is that?
It is a movie about Star Wars.
A
With-
War in the
It's
Stars?
War in the Stars, guys.
That sounds cool.
And there is the not Empire, the First Order.
We should say go easy on the spoilers, because not everybody at the table's seen it, and definitely not everybody
So you
listening
guys
has seen
know
it.
the new First Order or whatever is not the Empire.
No, it's the
different.
First Order. It's different.
Yeah,
It's
it's
definitely,
They're the alt empire.
it's definitely different. Alt Empire, I like that.
The only spoiler is, Chewie doesn't really do anything.
Nah.
So I was a little disappointed in that.
He just kind of hangs out. He does have the
yeah.
best comedic point
He's
in
got
the
some
movie, though.
comedic points, but it's Chewbacca. So he should have done something, but
They're saving him for Solo.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, Chewbacca and C-3PO can like hang out in a closet together the whole movie and nobody would notice. Poor 3PO.
But no spoilers, so I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people are really hating on it, and I can see why those people hate it. I'm assuming it's just because they only watch the movies. If you read the books, the movie is a lot like the books, but like the Spark Notes or Cliff Notes type of thing, where they all kind of go off on their own little adventures that seem important and are important, and then they all come back together at the end. And so they did that, and I can't. It's hard to talk about without saying any details.
What's the runtime?
2 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay.
And honestly,
241.
It's the fastest 2 hour, or the longest, like the most packed in there. I thought.
it's very.
It felt way longer.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
I would have liked for it to have been longer, honestly, because everything did feel like they were. Since each person went on their own thing, I wanted them to all have more time to do their thing. So
I think the 241 was the wrong runtime. It either need to be considerably longer or considerably shorter.
Yeah,
There's an entire subplot.
To make
I
it
won't
shorter,
say that
you just need to cut out an entire section of that film.
Yeah.
That didn't honestly do too much for the main plot. But if you were going to actually want to flesh everything out and care about everything that's happening
needs
more,
another half hour.
it needs to be longer.
Yeah.
But it still had a lot of beautiful moments to it. The stuff with Carrie Fisher was fantastic. And then there was a moment that they gave her that just made me start to cry because I had been waiting for that pretty much my entire life.
And now we're edging on spoilers, so we should move
Yeah.
on. But yeah, in short, good movie.
Yeah.
Not great, but
Better than Awakens.
Good movie. Yeah,
Not as good as Rogue One.
very little is.
And I don't care if two people here don't agree with me. because we can all be wrong. At different parts
How
of
about
our
we can all
lives.
disagree, or would never have Elliot on the show ever again?
Elliot, what have you been doing?
Yeah, I'm the audience favorite. You can't cut me out. Before I came here this morning, I watched like 30 minutes of Free State of Jones, which
Is that all you need to see of it?
well, I decided to come here instead of finishing the journey. It's a Civil War movie with Matthew McConaughey.
I actually really wanted to see it when I saw the trailer because it felt like those old school 90s movies that we don't get anymore.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of like an Edward Zwick movie,
Yeah.
almost. It's Gary Ross, I think, is the one who did it. And I love Pleasantville. I love Dave. So I'm eager to support him. It's too early to call since I've only seen like 30 minutes. But it's interesting to note that the reconnaissance is definitely over now. Because like I'm looking at my to see list and we got like Gold and Dark Tower. And it's like McConaughey now he's just another working actor.
Yep. Yeah, he came back with like a real strong like I am awesome and I'm back, and now we're kind of over you.
Same thing happened to... Oh, it just left my brain immediately as I'm about to say it. Saturday Night Fever.
Travolta.
John Travolta.
That happened to him a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's still got another one in him. Like it'll happen sooner or later. It's like holy shit, he's back, and now he's gone.
I didn't
It's
see
a high
I Am Brave.
voltage year, so
Yeah.
it'll go up.
So McConaughey was the Oscar, obviously, but like Interstellar, was that like the last of the heights, and now it's just like,
My kind of height.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just trying to pitch a new show.
The McConaughey.
Oh boy. I don't want to take that one on.
Yeah.
You'd have some rough watches with that.
Yeah. Bring me on for Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
But in short, are you going to keep watching it?
Yeah.
You sound invested.
You know what? I'll finish it, and then I'll come on next week's show to tell you how much I like it. If I don't mention it, I guess I didn't like it.
Cool. I look forward to hearing that next week. Or not. I'm going to guess we're not going to hear it.
I don't know. I wouldn't
You know what?
predict
Maybe-
the future.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
The only way to know is to subscribe and download.
Yep. Does Elliot finish Free State of Jones? We'll find out next week. ... Hey, Elvis, what about you? Where have you been doing?
Where have I been doing? I saw a little movie by a small-known director called Steven Spielberg.
Ooh.
Starring Meryl Streep and a guy named Tom Hanks. It's The Post.
Advanced screening?
I saw an advanced screening.
Wow.
Tom Hanks and Spielberg might have been doing a Q&A there.
Did you?
Whoa,
did
you're
wear
seeing
that
him
shirt?
so often.
Say what?
You're seeing him so often in person now.
I
Second
am.
time?
This is the second time. He still has not made direct eye contact with me, but that's cool. That's cool. We're building up to it.
Third time.
Third time he'll be on the show. I guarantee it.
Yes.
Are you gonna wink at him when you do it?
When I do the show with him,
When you make direct eye contact, you're just gonna give him a little wink.
of course.
Oh, I thought you just meant like when you're having full-blown sex with him.
Wink seems a little
Inevitable.
cheesy at that point.
You don't need to wink during sex.
You know what? I dare you though.
You don't need to, but you can.
In fact, just wait till it's just the moment that it's over. That split second, you just be like, wink. Big
Because I
fan.
think being coy while having sex might get really annoying.
It's a good finishing move.
I'm picturing too much of this now. What'd you think of The Post?
Well, I'm going to save my full thoughts for my podcast, which will be out probably about the same time this one drops. Tom Hanks Giving will be back to discuss The Post, but brief thoughts. I liked it. You should go see it.
So is your show just going movie to movie now?
Yeah, we've done the back catalog of Tom Hanks films, so we're in like a semi-permeable retirement, and every time there's a new Tom Hanks movie, we're gonna come out with a new episode.
Got it.
Or there's like a TV special, because we did one for David S. Pumpkins, and then I went to a theater live show and we did one for that. So anytime
David
there's-
S. Pumpkins?
No. For Tom Hanks did a Shakespeare thing for a charity event, and I went to that and we talked about that and gushed, and that was the first time I saw him.
How was he in doing Shakespeare?
He was great. He really let loose in a way that you don't see him on screen do very often.
I have been wondering if Tom Hanks is ever going to go back to his comedic roots.
Well, you should see The Post, not because it's very funny, Tom Hanks' comedic roots, but it's maybe the only good movie he's been in most of the last year. So
What about The Circle? The Circle looks so promising.
I had fun with The Circle. I would not say it was good.
I just want another Tom Hanks movie where he just goes outside and yells at the top of his lungs, "Oh, come on!"
Does he do that in The Post?
I mean, he gets pretty Hanksy with his Ben Bradley performance. There's a lot. He does this kind of like, "Hey, you gotta get the paper out." It's pretty funny.
You're selling me on this movie.
Yeah,
The more Hanksy it is, the more I'm into it.
it gets pretty Hanksy.
I want full Hanks again.
And most importantly, we have the perfect union of Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. Finally, the two,
Is this what we've been waiting for this whole time?
Americana.
two American
It's like
royalty.
the gatekeeper and the keymaster.
They're gonna have animal sex.
Not to mention, it's a mini Mr. Show reunion because it also features David Cross and Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But I would say watch it, and it's a super relevant movie to today. It's about the media taking on an authority figure and a corrupt government. It's a whole weird thing.
That doesn't sound like current events. What are you talking about?
You should check it out. It's very
That sounds like fake
subtle.
news. Fake news, Elvis. Fake news.
Tom Hanks Giving is not coming back next week. The Post. All a lie.
Sad.
But yeah, go see the movie and listen to the podcast. Tom Hanks Giving. Search it on iTunes and podcast app.
We'll throw a link in our show thing as well to that episode, not to your website. We're not going to do too much help, but we'll help out a little bit.
That's cool. I respect that.
Was that everybody?
You want to talk about more Star Wars spoilers in front of Elliot?
Oh.
Or John? John hasn't seen it.
I haven't
either.
seen it.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So we should mention that Han Solo survived, right? No.
You mean
Twist!
Robo Solo?
There was a lot of mattresses at the bottom of that cavern.
The opening movie is just like Two Towers. It just opens with him falling and just like going for a sword. And
And he
I'm
missed
joking,
his
but I would
heart.
totally have loved that.
I'm not going to laugh until I see the movie and know whether or not you're fucking with me.
His hair goes from gray to white. He's like, I'm Han Solo the White.
They really wanted to do an empowering female scene, so there's a part where Rey tries to use her sexuality to do a strip tease and make Ray go la 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 la. Kylo Ren go to the light side.
It's super hot and
Yeah,
kind of
it's super
awkward.
hot. I mean, she's got a lot of like things that kind of look like veils on her, anyways.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie or my fantasies?
So into our Merry Christmas episode. So for our Christmas episodes now, and our halfway to Christmas episodes, we do our Secret Santa. I feel like I have to explain this every time just in case, but basically what happens is we all randomly assigned somebody around the table to pick a movie for. They have to watch that movie. Now they'll have 5 minutes to review that movie, and then 5 minutes to discuss who do they think get it, and then they're usually pretty close to right. And then why did we pick it for them? And, it'll kind of work itself out as we start going. It'll make sense. Trust me. So around the table, what did we have? I will go first. I had Godzilla versus Gigan, or Gigan, as they pronounce it both ways throughout the entire movie.
Depending on if you're listening to the English or the...
Oh, no. I'm talking about the English one,
Just
as they
English?
flip-flop the whole way. It's Gigan! Gigan, Gigan.
Get it out of here.
Get it, Gigan!
Get got Gigan.
Gone, Gigan.
Yeah, so I got Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Like he's reading the title off his
What was this movie again?
Chewie, what wonderful movie did you have?
Jack and the Beanstalk from 1974.
That's a good one.
I had Night of the Hunter from 1955.
Cool. Last but not least.
I had Harry and the Hendersons from 1987.
I feel like it's a movie you would have picked yourself, so it kind of worked out.
It wasn't the first time I've seen it.
So I have a number in my head, 1 through 10. Go.
1.
6.
3.
8.
Chewie goes first.
Whoa.
It's a really good way of doing that, right?
All right.
I pretty much could have just said Chewie was going to go first anyways, but the number was 6. Okay, so, Chewie, you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, so technically, the first 30 seconds of this thing, I'd love for you to do a breakdown of it, if that's at all possible. But
I
then
can do a
just-
breakdown of this movie.
in 30 seconds? Because if you can, we're all doing 30-second breakdowns. You're setting the
Sure,
pace.
I can
All
do
right,
it.
we're doing all doing 30-second breakdowns. Let me
Thanks.
reset this fucking thing. Or fuck, I can count. Go.
Is it already started?
It's going. Starting you out on a strong note.
And she's out of the gate.
Okay, so Jack and the Beanstalk is about this little boy who's really bad at being a farmer, and he tries to help his mom like a complete idiot. Just can't do it. So his mom beats him, and I'm like, yeah, he kind of deserves that. And then she goes to bed hungry, and then he goes up this beanstalk and sees a pretty lady, and then he steals all of her stuff, and then there's some really bad
You're out of time.
musicals.
You couldn't summarize Jack and the Beanstalk in 30 seconds?
Well, she did cough for the first 10 seconds.
Daring choice.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for her.
So Jack and the Beanstalk from 1974. I almost feel like this movie was a commentary on the Japanese about America's poor animation styles. Because it was a movie made in Japan by the group TAC and Nippon Herald Films, directed by Jisup... I can't say it. Never
I
mind.
can't believe you remember that all off the top of your head.
It's all on Wikipedia, man. And they were trying to replicate American... Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Animation. And it just kind of sucks. It doesn't look great. Everyone's really kind of ugly, except for the princess, who she doesn't look like she even belongs in this movie. The music is not catchy. It comes up at weird moments that don't make sense. The kid is not likable. He just seems like a really dull brat who is overly confident in his abilities and then just steals from her, and then later on feels a little bit bad about it after his dog sings a song, and he's way more invested in the fact he's like, oh, you can talk? Why can't you oh, you can only sing, you can't actually talk. And then they go back up the beanstalk and quote-unquote save the princess from Tulip, who's the evil guy, and...
So, is he a giant?
He's a giant.
Okay.
But his mom's not a giant. She's just really tall. And she's also a witch who clearly has already conquered the kingdom, so I don't know why she feels she needs to marry her son off to the princess. She keeps saying then she'll get to be queen and the kingdom will be hers. I'm like, you already turned everybody into mice. Like, why do you need to do this? This process makes no sense. Except Tulip actually seems like he genuinely loves the princess. He's willing to put on the outfit she picks out for him. He's pretty gentle towards her. He doesn't really seem like too violent of a person until his mom yells at him. And then later on, he ends up squashing his mother because she's yelling at him to kill the little boy and the princess. And then everyone still is afraid and mad at him because he's a giant. And then he's, kind of almost just defending himself because they're still attacking him. And then he dies at the end because the little shit kid kills him. Oh, and then the kid, totally, has a dumb moment where he's like, oh, the girl said she liked me, so that means we're going to get married, and she's going to forget everything that belongs to her and come down the Beanstalk and be my wife. And then she's like, nuh-uh, bitch, I have shit to do, I'm staying here.
And I'm way older than you.
And way older than you and way prettier than you.
That summary was way over 30 seconds.
Well, technically, she failed about 30 seconds in.
I'm just talking about my opinions of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not coming through.
I don't know why this was recommended to me. Because, I like animated films, I like musicals, and I like Japanese stuff, but this is all, the worst that they would, have to offer.
So it's like a lump of coal movie.
Yeah. And I like this review on the Wikipedia from Richard Eater of the New York Times.
The failing New York Times?
This is his review. The lines are blurry, the color's muddy, and the action is block-like. When the character's lips move up and down, the words come out sideways. It is the kind of thing grandfathers are sent out to send their grandchildren to. They will sit silently, side by side, and a quiet loathing will come between them.
So you enjoyed it?
No! I actually had to turn on Frasier before I went to bed because I didn't want this to be the last thing I watched before I went to sleep.
Fuck yeah, the Frasier.
I don't even like Frasier that much, but it sounds like
What?
a good palate cleanser.
How do you not like Frasier?
It's a story for a different time.
Your volume level speaking of this.
It's the best! They even made the mice unlikable because their voices were so high-pitched.
All right, so that's the end of your 5 minutes of your review, which was very animated. I appreciate that. So we'll start the 5 of the rest of this thing. Who do you think gave it to you?
I have no idea. Honestly, maybe Elliot, because he has the most backstory in his brain about weird movies.
Is she right?
Yes.
And I don't know why you recommended this to me. I don't know where you ever saw this or why.
Some
You
men
like
just wanna watch
musicals?
the
You like
world burn.
animation?
But I like them when they're good. Even in the first 5 minutes when the kid's going out to screw up getting breakfast, they reuse the same shot of him jumping through the field 5 times almost. It's the same shot. He's going in the same direction 5 times. They don't even bother flipping it.
It's not even just the same animation, it's the exact same shot.
Exact same shot.
Oh my God.
Elliot,
And he's always just kind of tra-la-la-la-ing with his arms fully extending and his knees going up where he's not really running, but he's not walking. He's doing something in between. And he's doing
Jazzercising?
I
that-
really feel like the
The
audio
whole
is just
movie.
so not worth it without Chewie's animated arms going throughout the entire explanation.
She's still doing it.
And like, why are you walking like that?
So, Elliot, do you enjoy this movie?
We rented it from the video store when I was in elementary school, and my dad taped it onto a Betamax tape. So it was just kind of in the basement, and I definitely watched it a lot as a little kid. And then I forgot about it for like 13 years. And then as a high schooler, I watched it again, and I discovered that many of my recurring nightmares throughout my life have all spawned from this film.
Do you have a recurring nightmare of trying to trust a little boy and to help saving your kingdom and then him going, nah, and I'm going to sing about a song about how I'm not going to do it and destroy all your stuff?
Mainly, it was the scene where Tulip, he's this really big guy, and he's eating these little chicken wings. A big guy eating really tiny food is very...
But then he was also very meticulous, and he was putting down the bones down next to each other in a really meticulous order.
It's very meticulous.
Tulip actually didn't seem like that bad of a guy. He's just really ugly.
Doesn't he run like a train at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tulip made my stomach hurt. I know that sounds like a really weird thing, but it was a very gut reaction to every time he went, I was like, oh, I don't like this.
He was animated in the way that someone that really hates young people, because he was dressed like a groupie in the 70s with his attire, his hair, and everything. So it's just like someone just really hates groupies right now.
Has anyone else around the table seen this one?
I can't know.
So
I wish I could see some key art from it or something.
It's
the mom too, how her heels just like clack across the floor, and then she'll just like spin into a room and just stare at you with her gaunt figure and her bloodshot eyes. And then
she reminded me of the evil witch in Emperor's Got His Groove Back.
Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor's New
Yes.
Groove. Sorry.
conflating a couple. Isma.
Stella got her
the
groove
way
back.
that it's a really skinny girl with pale, kind of purplish skin, wearing an all black dress and a black headdress. It was the same sort of thing.
Yikes! What is keeping that together?
Yeah, and then every now and then, you know how you get songs stuck in my head? I'll just be like walking down the street or something, and I'll just be like, "No one is happier than I."
Okay, so that might have been the only
I
catchy song in
feel
the
like
movie.
I could touch
And
the
that was just
sky.
her being on drugs. That was a drug song.
Oh yeah.
I thought you would like the idea of people being turned into mice. I'm sorry.
Not when they're going.
They should have had
The whole
deep
time.
baritone voices.
Yeah.
That would have been a more interesting choice.
No,
Yeah.
it's just like every time the mouse was supposed to be talking, I was just like, oh.
I like that music at the beginning with the weird organ grinder guy. Like,
Oh, I did like that. That was probably my favorite thing in the whole movie.
I was just thinking the whole time, this kid's dumb. Why are you talking to this clearly creepy guy in the middle of the forest?
And then, like you described it, the scene where he's like, "Whoa, dog, you can talk!" Like, that's incredible. Just the dog dancing in the moonlight and singing a song.
And he was singing a song about how much he hates his owner and how he needs to go help the princess.
That just happens.
So, Elliot, would you recommend this movie to other people?
I feel like it's a childhood traumatic, perverse, psychological. Yes, highly recommend it.
Chewie, what about you?
No.
Elliot, are you just trying to
would-
share your pain with other people to connect to them?
I
I'm
would
trying to
almost
expose
rather
myself.
rewatch Battleship instead of having to watch this again.
I love how you keep getting the worst movies in these things.
Or the best, depending on how you look at it.
Okay, so that's the end of Jack and the Beanstalk. Chewie, you can choose who goes next.
Elliot,
Why? What did I do to you?
you made me watch that movie.
All right, Elliot, you ready for Night of the Hunter?
Yeah, 30
All right,
seconds.
So you get 30 seconds. It's going to be in this 5-minute timer.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go. Night of the Hunter, 30 seconds, go!
Actor Robert Mitchum plays a criminal disguised as a preacher who seduces widows, marries them, kills them, and then steals all their money. But this time, the scoundrel has met his match in the form of two meddlesome kids who aren't going to let this hunter escape into the night.
Did you write that down?
This morning.
More of a pitch than a summary.
Yeah. I mean, I'll allow it. It worked.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the movie?
You know, I watched this during film school. I got it from Netflix during that time. And this is a movie that has never really struck the heights for me. I think the director, Charles Laughton, he's more famous as an actor in films like Mutiny on the Bounty and Witness for the Prosecution. He does a good job directing it. He has a lot of striking visuals, like when the Robert Mitchum, he's standing in the street in front of the kids and his shadow is cast onto their bedroom wall through the window and the street light. There's one where the kids are like going down the river in a boat and there's this huge spider web. There's a lot of neat visual things that he does in the movie that show that he has a really good eye, but I feel like his focus isn't in the right place. Like, I really want to cheer on these kids as they overcome this horrible person, but then at the end of the movie the kids kind of join up with this old lady who she's the one who winds up like firing a gunshot at him, and he just like skedaddles into the into the night.
Zoidberg's out of there.
Yeah, he totally
He makes that noise.
Exactly. So the movie that I started thinking about was The Stepfather from the 80s with Terry O'Quinn from Lost.
Not the one from like 2014?
No, there was a shitty remake of it in like 2008, 2009, but there was a good version in the 80s with Terry O'Quinn, who played Locke on Lost. And that's a really solid movie about this guy who joins up with families and then like butchers them all and then like goes to a different family. And I feel like they could have gotten more emotional investment if they really like focused more on this family. The whole thing just felt, it has this like kind of southern twang to the entire proceedings with all the characters, and it just feels like there's this layer of artifice where it feels like they're really like putting on a show.
Now, do you think that's more of a product of its time or bad directing?
I feel like, I mean, this is Charles Lawton's only movie, so I just feel like he didn't quite strike the balance. Robert Mitchum is really good in the movie. He has this whole thing where he has love and hate tattooed on his knuckles, and watch as they wrestle with each other, his hands. And I feel like he's an iconic character. He's definitely somebody who stands out and makes an impression, but the movie just kind of hops around from all these different perspectives. Like there's the old people at the store who we get their feedback, and I feel like Shelley Winters in particular is a very like weak character in the movie. And you mentioned Poseidon Adventure. Shelley Winters is great in Poseidon Adventure. Yeah. But this one, she's in Lolita too, isn't she?
I've only seen Lolita once. I don't really remember.
Yeah, so I think she's just played a couple of mother figures who just get bulldozed over by asshole men. And I just feel like there are really good elements and there's a lot of promise if Charles Lawton had continued to direct movies. But I think this is an older movie that is, hey, it's definitely worth watching. A lot of great iconography, a good performance, and a good directorial style. But I don't think this is one that really deserves to be considered a classic.
Fair. Do you want to give it the rest of your minute here and just move on to who do you think did it?
You?
You think it was me?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, but it was not.
No. Was it John?
Yep.
See, I guessed that just
backup.
The second I saw it, I was like, I bet that was John.
Yeah, I guessed it too.
Man. You seemed really eager in terms of the responses. Like, oh yeah, he's Zoidberg's out of there.
Yeah.
So
I watch all these movies just to make sure I can chime in.
Oh man, you do way more work than you should be doing. But yeah, John,
I watched fucking Jack and the Beanstalk.
And he told me, Chewie, you're not gonna like this.
Wow, I'm surprised you didn't watch it like together.
We don't have that much time. I work nights.
Gotcha. Yeah. So John, thanks. Yeah. I mean, it's
Thanks for
just
that underwhelming piece of shit.
Well, no, it's like I've seen it before. Like it's fine, but I don't know. Are you a big fan of it?
I really enjoyed it, and it's for the reasons that you didn't enjoy it as much, like the style, the shots, the atmosphere, the relentlessness of the villain, the antagonist, and just how artful that thing is. And it had a very like even a Three Little Pigs element to it, where like each kid, like they got their house torn down and they have to get to the last pig.
It's like Three Little Pigs, except there are only two pigs.
Well, like
if you count
the old woman, though.
Yeah.
the old woman with all the other kids.
Do you like the ending with the old woman though?
I think it was interesting. I think it was a nice flip on his character with the love and hate, where she saw through it. And I like that the movie tries to kind of speak to that you can play as a godly person and fool a lot of people. And there's that wolf in sheep's clothing thing, and it plays that out really well. And then she's just like, "No, this is you walk the walk, or you're not it."
But when you watch a movie and you have like your protagonists, you know, do you want them to like go find the bigger protagonist who's gonna defeat the bad guy? Like, I feel like it would have been so much more satisfying if the kids were the ones who dealt the final blow. If it was the kids who were able to turn the tables on this guy.
Maybe
But the kid backs down at the last moment. Like he tries to give the guy the money. Like it was like that part. Like, I've seen this movie a couple times. That part's always bugged me. Like I get that it's motivated, but it always just kind of feels weird to me.
What?
Perhaps he's going for a more realistic tale because a kid really couldn't take down this kind of a creep.
Yeah,
especially one as like crafty as he is.
And there's something to be said that an older female character gets to be a hero in a movie. That's pretty cool.
That's kind of awesome.
There's a woman who doesn't, can see past this bullshit.
And especially in the 50s when there were no roles like that, that's kind of cool.
That's fair. Like I had a really great point to bring up against you guys, but I was misremembering, and that was from Free State of Jones. So it doesn't really
McConaughey
count.
sucked in this movie.
Doesn't really count. But I can see your point. I guess I just identified with the kids too much. I found them more compelling than the Shelley Winters character.
Yeah.
Once the Shelley Winters character was strucken down, I was just like, all right, like let's see these kids do the business.
You want to see
but
Home
then
Alone?
It kind of does an interesting thing that like the new It movie did too, where it's like the kids are like the parent, like the adults are just so incompetent all around them, and they fail in every single way. And it was cool to see that juxtaposed against the lady at the end, who just this is what someone is, like an adult is.
it felt like the lady was just in God mode at the end. That nothing could defeat her.
I mean, literally, she kind of is.
Yeah.
Is she the same old lady at the beginning who's like telling the story to the kids?
No,
Because it starts
don't
off
remember.
in the heavens, and we see these just detached heads, and it's like all these little kids.
yeah.
I think so.
And
Yeah.
there's this old lady who's like, gather around, children, and let me tell you this biblical story.
Right, and Disney didn't have the time to animate the epilogue where she wraps up the story, right?
Yeah. And so it was perfectly said, Elvis. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm too... like I mentioned The Stepfather. That's a movie where definitely the daughter like takes a hand in terms of dealing the defeat to the villain. And I feel like I'm just too much in that 80s mode of like Spielberg and Amblin movies where the kids kind of like, hey, prove that they know what they're doing. And this movie, like going before that,
30 years before that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this, like the guy who made Stepfather had to enjoy this movie, like, because it's definitely there.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that I don't like this movie. I'm not
no.
saying that at all. I just feel like it doesn't quite resonate with me as strongly as a movie that I would really hold up as like, this is a classic. This is definitely an important movie in the cinema canon. I feel like it's almost it's just like kind of a weird strand, because this could have been like the first Charles Lawton movie, and then we could have seen like all these other ones that he would have really
you're out
like
of time.
come into his own.
I
But he
just
didn't.
realized.
But we were on such
Out
a
of
roll.
time.
I did really like there's a shot in this movie that they later basically recreated for The Exorcist, and I thought that was really cool.
Which one was that?
It's when he's standing outside the house that leads into that shadow in the bedroom thing.
Oh, yeah,
When
yeah,
you're looking outside the house, it's almost verbatim of
The camera's
Exorcist.
just on the other side of him.
Yeah. But it's there, and like as soon as I saw him, I've seen The Exorcist so many times, and whenever I see like a slight nod to it, I'm like, oh, that wasn't really a nod to it, because it came first. Anyhow, Elliot, you get to pick who goes first or next, not first. Third. I can count.
Okay, so well, I'll keep paying it forward to John.
Okay.
I got. Hold on, let me get the name of this movie.
Does this help?
It's.
I hand him my
Is
coffee mug.
it Batman Quest for Peace?
It's Batman's Quest
hold
for
on.
Peace.
I got this. Oh yes. Okay. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. And I think my favorite description of this movie I read somewhere.
Hold on, you have a 30-second breakdown.
Oh
first.
yes. Okay.
You ready to go for your 30-second breakdown?
Yeah.
Breakdown,
All right.
Breakdown.
Go.
Nuclear weapons are bad, so Superman takes all the nuclear weapons and shoots them out to the sky. Well, unbeknownst to him, Lex Luthor puts the genetic material of Superman and some other like weird potato bag in the missile and sends it up into space, creating Nuclear Man, and then they fight. And Superman gets scratched and gets sick. He gets like the flu or something, and then comes back and pounds Nuclear Man into the moon. And then it just kind of futters out. I mean,
Much like your breakdown
It's
just
a
did.
fuddy-duddy.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll count that as a success. What'd you think of the movie?
It's fine. It's definitely. I kind of had it confused for half the movie with Superman 3 because I was like, when does he blow out the Olympic torch? And I got really disappointed at that fact when I realized that that's not what this was. The fingernails, the glam nails, don't turn him into jerk Superman. And I was really disappointed. This movie's so cheap.
It was the first. Is it the only one made by Canon Films?
Yes.
Yeah, it's everything was reused. Like all the like he had to fly with Lois. I was like, I saw that before. Interesting that her costume kind of changes when she gets back. And then there's the weird double date scene where that went on for like
Superman 2 times, both girls.
right.
This is the Christopher Reeves written one or something?
Yeah,
right?
this is the one that like the trivia was saying like he was really like keen on getting this. Like he was really keen on his writing.
Didn't he direct it too?
No,
he didn't direct it.
some other
too
guy that wasn't Donner. No, this was just it. I do remember when I saw this as a younger kid thinking like, well, I guess that's it for comic book movies. Like being so jazzed about Superman 1 and 2, and I was just like, this, like, even as a kid, this feels cheap. And the third one I already had felt pretty cheap in ways.
The third one had Richard Pryor in it.
Yeah, at least, like...
No,
yeah.
that's really a good thing.
This one had John Cryer in it.
whoa. That was his best line. And the weird car that's radio controlled. There's a lot of weird things in this. And I think this second time around, what warmed me to it more than before was those weird things. This is a weird Superman movie. Nuclear Man is just weird with Gene Hackman's voice. Destroy Superman. And it's just like, okay. And like, interesting idea, I guess. But all with this like political, like, I feel like when it was written, it was like, this is super political. This will be an important movie. And I think even research on it was like, they cut it down to 90 minutes or something because they thought they wanted more theater screen time so it could be a super success. And
was it?
No. It was a huge flop, and it messed with a lot of people's careers. And I guess there was a lot of fighting on the set and everything like that. It was the whole movie just felt off in a way. And some of it also was the cinematography too. Like, I hadn't seen it for a while, so everything was just shot so small. Everything felt small. The Daily Planet, I felt like it was 2 rooms versus in like the first movie where it's like you could get lost in all the cubicles in that thing. And that makes sense why Clark Kent would get lost and fumble around because, yeah, I would probably too. But it was quirky and entertaining. Like when it gets to them fighting and just it goes fuck it and goes just batshit. I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind some of this weirdness, even though the freaking nails and like and what gets Superman is a scratch.
It looks like a bad scratch.
It's a pretty good gash. Yeah. It's a Nuclear Man. I forgot how like that costume was so out there and weird.
He was born in a sun. There's a sun on his chest. It makes sense.
Yeah. No, it was one of those ones where I was just kind of watching like, kind of going along for it. At least it's not like, something like Ghostbusters 2 where I kind of dozed in the middle of it. It was still weird enough to keep me, and I enjoyed it well enough. But
there's no man juice.
Yeah,
there's a lack of man juice that I think was sorely needed in this.
But it had John Cryer. Everyone loves John Cryer. Whoa. And he did the whole spinning in midair thing. That was the thing.
Yep. It was very middle for me.
Do you want to give up your last minute? Are you going to guess who gave it to you?
I think Brian, you did.
Yeah, you're spot on right there.
I feel so bad for picking you because of course you picked
Superman 4, the question.
And the reason is because of like the love of Justice League and all the like
okay,
Batman vs Superman.
Well, hold on, because I know this one's bad. I don't have some like, but I love it. No, this one's just a bad movie through and through. The reason I picked this one was when I got your name, I was talking to Ryan, who helped us out with this one. I'm like, I want to give John the worst possible experience, and I couldn't figure out like I like
Elliot,
nothing more.
Was this what you thought for me too?
I gave you a very vulnerable part of myself.
This did not feel like a vulnerable part of Brian.
No, there's nothing more that I love than making John watch something he hates. And I was like, I need to find something that he can't watch with his daughter because it would bore her, and he can't watch with Jandy because she'd say no, so he has to be alone by himself going, this sucks. And I feel like I nailed it. It was between this and Showgirls, but Showgirls I thought is like, you can go the camp route, like, oh, is it a good movie? Like, is it secretly that's like a really good bad movie? Whereas Superman 4, there's no denying that it's shit.
Yeah. Pretty much. There's the rebuilding the Great Wall scene with his super magical
vision,
with his rebuilding power. I do want to draw attention to.
There's a rebuilding power.
Yeah, he can look at a wall and put it back together.
I want to tell you like the beginning of the summary that I read for it before I came here. Superman does a lot in his newest adventure. And that's what I was starting like. Yeah, I guess.
Is that the end of it?
No, it goes on. It goes on. All right. Archvillain Lex Luthor, determined to make the world safe for nuclear arms merchants, creates a new being to challenge the Man of Steel, the radiation-charged Nuclear Man. The two superpowered foes clash in an explosive screen extravaganza that sees Superman save the Statue of Liberty, repulse a volcanic eruption of Mount Etna, rebuild the demolished Great Wall of China, and perform many more spectacular feats.
Like rebuilding a wall with his eyes. Like that's like I've seen this movie
Yeah.
a number of times.
As have I, yeah.
And it's like one of those like I can watch Batman vs Superman, Justice League, even the Green Lantern movie, like all these DC movies, and go, I get why people hate these, but I love them. Superman 4 is a rare breed of like this is just fucking terrible, and it's like everything from like we have the indestructible hair of Superman. Look at it, hold this 1,000-pound thing that Lex Luthor just walks in. Snip, I'll take that. Thanks. It's like, I thought I was indestructible. What the fuck? And how does he get a haircut? Do they need to get like bolt cutters every time they get a haircut? That is
how he gets a haircut. Yeah.
But there's so much ridiculous bullshit in this movie that I thought, even though it's the worst thing in the world and you'd be totally miserable while watching it, it still has some entertaining value to it.
Yeah.
Like it's like the epitome of so bad it's good.
Yeah. It really crosses that line.
Like, I mean, there's a part of me that's like, ooh, I could have made him watch like Catwoman or just like something that's like, why does this happen? But for some reason, I feel like those movies tried harder. Like this one is like the epitome of beyond Christopher Reeves. It's just a bunch of people going, fuck.
Yeah. No one was trying hard in this movie, and it shows. Like
Gene Hackman, you're needed on set. Fuck. Like that's just the.
How many times do I have to record this line? Destroy Superman.
Like it's everything about it is just so bad. Like it's great.
Yeah.
The Nuclear Man drives Superman into a moon like a railroad spike. Just keeps like bonk, bonking him on the head. That's the way he brings down Superman. Is bonking him on the head.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
bonkers.
I don't even think it's bonkers. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you enjoyed out of it, or did I completely ruin one night for you?
I think the spat between them, the bonking of the head, when it kind of just is like, all right, let's just do it. He's fighting Nuclear Man, and this is dumb. That's where it gets better for me, and I enjoyed it more because it was like, let's get to that. This beginning stuff where we're pretending we're trying to like, oh, he doesn't want to sell his property because he wants a farmer to buy it.
Oh, I forgot about that whole subplot, and I just watched this thing this week.
Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. To be fair, just get the Supermaning, please.
I watched all movies around this table in one sitting, except for this one took me 3. This one had to be watched in thirds. It was just like, whew.
I think it's one thing that helped is that like usually I watch movies in kind of a fugue state at night, and I can kind of just coast. I can't move anywhere else because my body is too tired. I might as well just be subjected to this.
All right, so I think I accomplished exactly what I set out to do.
Yeah, you succeeded.
It sounded like this movie violated you. The way you put it there at the end.
I feel like a bunch of goo.
You've been hosed down.
God, all these jokes for next week. All right, so who goes next?
Let's pay forward, Brian. You're next.
All right. So Godzilla versus Gigan. It's a wonderful Godzilla movie. I've seen most of them. This one was new. So the movie takes place in the time that it takes place in. Cockroaches from space decided that they want to take over the world, and they do that by creating a tape that can make kaiju go nuts and attack cities for them. But then good guys find those tapes, and then they defeat the cockroaches, and they own the planet. That's really the long and the short of that. Did I succeed? Was that good enough for a 30-second breakdown?
Yeah.
Cool. So I tried to watch this movie in the original Japanese, and it does not exist on the internet. And luckily, my wife is an insane Godzilla fan and owned it on VHS, so I was able to watch the dubbed version of it, which was increasingly more enjoyable the more it went on. Like the guy who's the main character just does his best Superman impression for the entire movie. It's like, what do you mean? And it's just like, it's so corny and so dumb. But the whole movie takes place in like this like theme park that the alien cockroaches are making, and they're trying to come up with like new monsters for the kids to be afraid of, and the only ones the guy can come up with is like Mamazord or like Homework Monster, and like the whole movie is just so corny, and like it's just, especially if you watch the dub version, because in the dub version Godzilla can talk.
He does. It's great.
He talks to the guy from Godzilla Raids Again. I can't remember all the kaiju names. I apologize. But he's like, oh, I hear a thing. Go check it out. And he's like, okay. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? And that was kind of my feel throughout the entire movie. Was like, as things went on, it was just constantly like, what the fuck is this? Oh, what new hell is this thing? And it's just like, it was... As bad as it was so entertaining. Like, and I have a real soft spot in my heart for pretty much any big monster destroying a city movie. So as long as that's in there, I'm going to enjoy it at least a little bit. And this one kind of pushed those boundaries for me a few times. Like when you find the reveal that the aliens are cockroaches, you find it out via shadow, which makes no fucking sense. But like the power goes out and there's like one light and all the good guys in the room with the bad guys look at the ground and there's a huge cockroach shadow and they're like, oh, you're space cockroaches. And it's like, how did you even make that leap? Like, I don't even know where I would have started with that. But like as a whole, like it's still when like Godzilla was like a superhero. It was during that period of time when Godzilla was still a good guy. They even show his son from 1 second. He even does the whole like, and he blows the circle bubble thing, which still annoys the shit out of me in Son of Godzilla, but that's okay.
Hate Son of Godzilla.
I hate that movie so much. Why? Because of... That's why.
Even though it's so cute.
What about when he steps on his tail?
He's so
Oh my
proud
God,
of
I hate that
himself
movie.
every time he can actually like blow something.
I hate that movie. But it's just crap. Unlike this one. Like this one, I actually had a lot of fun watching it. And I'm glad that I was able to throw in the VHS and not to suffer through this streaming site that I found it on because that site sucked and it kept crashing. Because it's just a fun movie. And it throws in more than just Gigan, who's like a really kind of silly looking half Godzilla, half bird monster with like Ray-Ban sunglasses and like a saw for a chest. And it's like this really like over designed thing, but it's still kind of fun. And you get Ghidorah back, who's like one of the classic, like Godzilla can't really fight Ghidorah because he's 3-headed monster who can shoot lightning out of his mouth and he's scary and awesome.
Which he doesn't talk. I was disappointed.
Yeah, he did not talk because I really
like
wanted
the
to talk
three heads
like in
argue.
triplicate, just like hello.
Should have been the Three Stooges
Yeah.
or something.
They had a different audio
Oh my
track.
god, if it was voiced by the Three Stooges, that would have been amazing.
No, there was a different audio track where it was each head was like, bah!
And then I'm out.
It's good that you didn't.
But yeah, like it's a really fun movie if you can find it. Apparently it was originally when it was released in America is Godzilla on Monster Island, which is a terrible name for the movie because it really
It's a different movie.
in America that's what it was released as. It said so on Wikipedia. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I had a good time with it. It's terrible, but like in the best way. Like it was one of the ones where like I hadn't seen this one. I've seen a good swatch of Godzilla movies, and this one I hadn't. And I went into it expecting the worst, and it wasn't. It was actually a really enjoyable ride, and I'm glad that I watched it. That's it for me. I'm guessing Elvis gave it to me.
Well, you'd be right. And I was like, oh, I think I have this on VHS. I could give it to him, but then I would give that away.
Yeah.
Well,
But
good luck, because I got it on VHS too.
perfect. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I brought some props. Yeah.
That's a different version of Gigan.
That's
not
the
what it-
newer version, yeah. But he's still
I like
essentially
him. He's
a giant cyborg chicken.
Oh, I forgot to mention the blade hands, the scythe hands.
Yeah, that's like this craziest part. This guy can't pick up anything.
No, he
See,
can't
I
pick up
always
shit.
thought of
Or
him
go
as
pee.
more of a beetle than a chicken because he's
See,
got
it's
the
the beak
mandibles.
that
that's the
does it,
beak
though.
face.
But he's got the mandibles on the side.
Yeah, I mean it's
Well, I think
it's over designed to
when
the
I was
degree.
when I was first introduced to Gigan, though, he was second banana to Megalon, who's definitely a beetle.
Yeah.
So he
Okay,
looked like
yeah.
more of a chicken in that one. But yeah, I'm very pleased that you had never seen this one before.
Yeah, and I've seen a good chunk of these movies, but you just can't see them all.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorites
you
growing up. So
Yeah.
when I came home from work and Brian was watching it, I was just like, wait. Like, I really know this movie. Like, they're roaches, and I've seen this like 1,000 times.
Oh, you even brought a little cockroach.
Little space cockroach.
Here, he'll say hi. There we go. That's perfect.
Wonderful. But yeah, when I realized I should, I don't know, for some reason I was like, I want to do a Godzilla movie. And I was like, I want to give him the weirdest possible one. And it was like, between this and Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, where he flies with his death breath, and Monster Zero's not that weird, but he does ride on his tail. Or no, that's Megalon.
I don't think I've seen Megalon.
I haven't seen all the Godzilla movies yet either. I know it's
Are they-
sad.
God, it's sad that I'm
There's
losing
so
touch.
many.
I can't quite remember. It is Godzilla versus Megalon because Jet Jaguar, the giant Keiju robot dude, holds Megalon, and then Godzilla goes on his tail and rams into him. So that's,
I've seen that clip at
yeah,
least. Yeah.
it's a great clip. But this one, it was specifically that Godzilla and Angurius talk.
Yeah.
That I was like, this is so fucked up. Someone's got to watch this.
But they don't in the Japanese version.
No.
That's
When I was watching it, it's all just like when he says you need to go check it out, like go check it out, or however he says it.
it's just like roars.
It's just roars, and he just waves his hand.
Was there? I can't remember because I don't think I've seen this one since I was a kid. Was there a justification for like why they were able to talk?
Just because
Nope.
they probably assumed that American audiences wouldn't understand what was going on.
But there's like a weird sound effect with like radio, like
Yeah.
right. So I was always like, someone's like listening in or translating. That's
No
really weird.
justification whatsoever. They just start talking because I had already seen that part up to the when I was watching the stream. Up to that point, I'd already seen it, and then Chewie threw in the VHS because the stream kept breaking. And they get to that part, and he's like, "Go check it out." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, I just watched this scene, and he didn't talk.
And he has a fun little arm movement. Like, go!
Yeah, and then Anger, he gets the shit kicked out of him too.
Oh,
doesn't
he does. Yeah, because he shows up and they're like, "Oh God, a kaiju, kill it!"
He always gets beat the hell out of. I think it happens in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla too.
Yeah, he's not the strongest fighter. He is just a guy on all fours in a suit.
Yeah.
So-
And I love that you can always see like his back feet never touch the ground.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just the knees. It's so cheesy.
But yeah, it's a like I said, it's a really fun one. Like it's just like it's so dumb that it's fun.
Yeah, Gigan, he's one of my favorite villains. He explodes out of a Chaos Emerald for some reason.
Yep.
And it's weird that I don't like Geeter as a second banana though. That seems very odd.
Yeah, because he's so powerful that
He's the ultimate Godzilla foe. So.
yeah. So it feels really weird giving him like, well, he's there too.
Yeah, and then Angurius can take him out. Fuck that. that loser. No way.
He felt like a weird pull, Anguirus.
Yeah, well, he's in Godzilla Raids Again, or the second Godzilla. I think
The
that's
one
the
that
only
you-
reason he keeps
Yeah.
coming back is he's got that kind of early status, seniority.
What is he?
They're like frenemies.
He's like a
He's like
turtle armadillo thing.
He's a turtle with human legs. They're in a turtle suit, but they're definitely human legs.
Does he like fly like a UFO?
no.
No.
flying.
No.
Well, oh wait, yeah, there is no.
Is that
I
the
think that's Gamera.
Yeah, I don't think that's the same.
I don't
guy.
think he ever goes into his shell.
Yeah, he can't. He's a human.
Yeah, right.
Was there any other reason that you picked it for me?
No, I think that summed it up. And I also just like the space cockroaches. I was like, I love that this is where Team America got that idea from.
Yep.
But yeah, no.
And the space monsters, were they in the ones before this? Because they come back.
I think, well, wait, what do you mean the space monsters?
Like
Gigan and Mechagodzilla?
There's been space
No, like
villains
the
in
aliens who
other
come to try to
movies.
take over the world with.
Oh, no, these were new aliens.
Okay.
These are the only time these aliens appear.
Yeah, the other aliens were different, where they wanted to kidnap Godzilla and bring him to his planet, so then Earth was left undefended.
Yeah, those are the Planet X
okay.
Yeah.
aliens. And then there's the Mechagodzilla other dimension aliens where you hit them and they turn into like half green ape men.
Yeah. There's
Which-
a lot of aliens in the Godzilla verse.
Yeah.
I need to see more of them.
Godzilla goes cosmic.
But it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So I guess that means you're going.
I guess it does.
Are you the last one?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So it should be pretty easy to guess who
Who
gave it to you.
gave it to you.
I was very close to guessing Chewie gave me the Godzilla thing because she was always like, "Why didn't somebody give me Godzilla?" And I'm like, "Are you just trying to like hide the fact that you gave me a Godzilla movie?" Especially when it's like, "I can't find it." She's like, "I have it right here."
That was actually
Well,
pretty.
what gave it away then?
You have Godzilla shit all over your apartment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you knew that, but
But that was it because it was either
okay.
you or Chewie, and since she was very annoyed, I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna guess that it was you."
all right, yeah,
All right, you ready?
yes.
So 30 seconds of Harry and the Hendersons. Should be pretty easy. All right, go.
Harry and the Hendersons is about this white Seattle family, nuclear family. They're camping, they're hunting, and then they hit Bigfoot. Basically, they call him Harry eventually. They think he's dead. They take him home. He's not dead. He terrorizes the house. They're gonna kill him, but then the dad, John Lithgow, falls in love with him, and they're like, "Oh, we love Harry," but then he disappears, and they're like, "Oh no, we gotta find him because he's gonna get hurt." And then they find him, and they find the Bigfoot expert, and then they save him from the Bigfoot hunter.
You're
and
out of time.
Damn. And John Lithgow slaps him, and it's the saddest scene I've ever seen. Go! We don't want you anymore.
I forgot that he slapped him. I was like,
He
"Oh
white
god."
They
bangs
did
him
that
so
on-
hard.
Yeah.
They did that on 30 Rock.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've seen this movie like 1,000 times when I was a kid.
Really?
It's like one of my mom's absolute favorite movies. So I almost didn't even rewatch it because I was like, I think I remember literally everything. And then I watched it last night, and I was like, the only thing I forgot about this movie was the fucked up like totally 80s animation at the end for the end credits where they recreate scenes from the movie. And that was hilarious. It was like a music video or something where it's like just this. It's in the style of John Lithgow's sketches. And
did he draw them?
I don't think. No, I think his.
You mean his sketches, not his actual.
Yeah. But and they just kind of like rotoscope the footage, and it looks like this super cheesy animation. It's great. It's lovely. But returning to Harry and the Hendersons was enjoyable. It's such a fast. Fun movie. It gets right to the concept right away. Like, we're not dicking around. We immediately know John Lithgow, George Henderson, or George Hen, as he's called on the TV. He's a big. It's kind of like he's almost like not a gun nut, but he's like they're really pushing like this is his personality. He works at a gun shop and he loves shooting things, and it's about being a man. And the whole movie, he becomes a soy boy and like loves animals and doesn't like guns anymore. And I when I was a kid, I had I didn't notice the gun thing.
The hard anti-gun message
yeah,
in this movie.
It's weird because it's totally an anti-gun movie.
Yeah,
which is fascinating. I wonder if there was a discourse about it at the time where it was like, this is fucking bullshit. Taking my guns, Harry and the Hendersons. So that was an intriguing element to the movie that I discovered upon this rewatch. What else? Just I mean, this I think is the first time I ever saw a movie with John Lithgow in it. So this is actually what I think of more than anything else whenever he comes up, more than Third Rock from the Sun.
Or Dexter.
Never saw Dexter.
Very different.
It's a very different role for John Lithgow.
Of course, now I think of him in Beatrice at Dinner, which is like the scariest possible sequel to this movie.
I think my first was Shrek.
Oh, so it wasn't even his face.
Yeah.
Just the voice.
A gingerbread man.
Oh, he's good in that. He's good in everything though, and it was delightful to see him. And he's never looked young. I don't think he's always looked really old.
Doesn't he have black hair in this?
No, it's still kind of fading to white.
Okay.
And he's still got the bald spot. But he's great. There's like just so many funny lines where he's like, "Come on, everybody, us, life, time." Magazines. He's just trying to think because he's thinking of selling out or like trying to get famous off of the discovery of Bigfoot. And it's got one of my childhood favorite villains in the piece, LaFleur. Just this like round, bald French guy who is obsessed with finding Bigfoot, and I don't know. He keeps it's like a very Tom and Jerry villain because he keeps getting into trouble and like
who plays him?
I don't know his name. He's a great person, though. I'm going to say Jean Reno.
That would have been a different movie.
Jean Reno mixed with Joe Pesci. That's who played him.
That's actually pretty close.
Right?
Yeah.
And, just a lot of... I mean, and I'd be remiss if I didn't take the last 28 seconds to mention the Rick Baker costume design is fantastic for Harry. It's like... everybody here at this table loves Chewbacca, obviously, but... like Harry is there's so much more emotion and an ability to emote in the face, and a lot of that's just because it's more makeup than a mask. And I love the physicality of Harry, and it's great. And if you haven't seen it, it's great.
So who gave it to you?
Suchet played the.
It was the guy who played the Predator, right? Kevin Peter Hall or whatever.
Sure.
Didn't he play Harry?
I was talking about the LaFleur.
What was his name?
This is
David
all great stuff.
Suchet.
Is it Kevin Peter Hall?
David Suchet.
Great.
For Harry? I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't care about this at all. Let's
Harry-
move on to
Yes, Kevin Peter Hall.
He played the Predator.
Oh, that's
All
cool.
right. Chewie, thank you for giving me Harry and the Hendersons.
You're welcome.
That was such a nice gift to give someone.
I mean,
Why were you like the only nice one? Although I think Godzilla vs. Gigan was.
That wasn't a bad one. I was mean to
was-
John.
I I loved
I'm
this
used to
movie
it.
growing up.
It's a
Loved
great
it
fucking
growing up.
movie.
And I haven't rewatched it. I've looked at it on Netflix a couple times going, maybe I should rewatch that. Well, I still love it as an adult, so I've always been a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got assigned to you, I'm like, okay, what's the most Tom Hanks movie that doesn't have Tom Hanks in it?
By the way, thank you for not giving me a Tom Hanks movie. I love the man, but I've seen them all. Just the Tom Hanks movie.
So, I mean, this one just came up. I'm like, yeah, it's a very Tom Hanks type of film without Tom Hanks.
He would have been great in the John Lithgow role, honestly.
He was too young, though, right?
Yeah. He could have pulled it off, but I think... I mean, John Lithgow was the right choice, especially with the turn from being kind of like, I'm going to shoot this guy. That feels more John Lithgow than Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I can't imagine Tom Hanks being like a super like hunter guy.
Yeah.
Like he can do anything. So what do I know? But
he's so much more like it would play different because you can see a much more kind of douchebaggy, sinister feeling to a John Lithgow. Not that he's ever douchebaggy or sinisterism.
Dexter.
Except for that. And again, Beatrice at Dinner, which is great if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I would say this movie holds up. It's still wonderful.
Okay.
You should feel free to rewatch it.
Okay.
It held up better than I thought it would.
I did kind of sleep at one point. I like dipped out a little bit when he was lost. So I actually missed the George Hen scene.
Because honestly, the one scene in the movie that is still vividly in my head, I guess, similar to like Elliot with Jack and the Beanstalk, where as a child it really like affected me, is the scene when he's lost and he gets close to the highway and he's stuck behind the chain link fence and he's just getting overwhelmed with the sounds of the city and all the cars rushing by and everything. And that, like, I felt so much empathy for his character in that moment, even as a young kid, that it made me sad. And then the ending when he has to White Fang him, and it's just like, no, but he loves you.
Yeah.
You just don't understand.
Well, they get that goodbye later, and then you find out that Bigfoot's one of like 30 other tree/big feet.
Yeah, but there's this. It's a ridiculous movie that if you say it does hold up, like. I remember being heart-wrenching and heartfelt.
Yeah, and just like so many great moments, like in addition to the chain link fence stuff, there's where Harry does the police siren, and that's how they get through the traffic away from LaFleur.
I forgot about that. That's so good.
Every time he teaches Harry to sit, but he just goes through the floor every time. And when I can't remember the actor's name or sadly even the character's name, but when the Bigfoot expert who's like given up and feels like he's a failure of his dreams, finally sees Harry, just his joy on his face is like the most heartwarming thing.
And doesn't Harry just like stroke his face or something to be like trying to comfort him, if I remember correctly?
And I think he does hug him, and it's and then he sits down. It's great. And just like the teenage daughter is wonderful, and the relationship she has with Harry. And one of my favorite, I laugh out loud every time I see it, is when they make up because he eats her carnation at the beginning, and then he gives her a bouquet of flowers to make up with it that he stole from the annoying neighbor. And when they're having this peaceful moment, he just grabs her head and like shoves her down. It's so good. It's a wonderful, heartwarming movie. It's a lot more optimistic than I think it would play today. I'm hard pressed to imagine a guy who's like a super gun nut being like turning just from looking into an animal's eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Twitter and a lot of those like trophy photos. Those are not people from Harry and the Hendersons.
No, Don Jr. is not going to see Harry and be like, oh. But that doesn't matter. This movie is hopeful, and the world is good, and we will not let bad things get us down.
We will teach empathy.
Yes.
It is one of those rare movies that like there's a lot of movies that came out in like the 80s, 70s, early 90s where it's like, oh, I could see these kind of coming out again. We will never get another movie like Harry and the Hendersons.
No, and
it's just too sincere.
It's too sincere. And you know what? You can't do it better than it was done.
Yeah, totally.
Even the makeup for the costume for Harry it's perfect.
They CG him now.
Yeah, and it'd be weird.
Yeah.
All right, so that's everybody. So that's our Secret Santa Christmas thing. So instead of review system or quotes or anything like that, because that's not this type of thing, I want to go around the table and say, out of the movies you heard described today, what's the one that you'd be willing to watch in like the next hour? Not that we're going to do that, but if you had to.
I'd rewatch Harry and the Hendersons.
Ellie, what about you?
I kind of want to see what these space cockroaches are about.
Elvis?
If I didn't rewatch Harry and the Hendersons last night, it would be that, but it'd be Godzilla vs. Gigan.
Cool. I just watched all these this week. If I had to rewatch one of them today again, I'd probably go Night of the Hunter, just because it's different. That's what I'll go with.
Cool. I'd go with Harry and the Hendersons.
So Harry and the Hendersons, the one good one. Although Night of the Hunter is not a bad movie. Like it's even like
a good movie.
it's on like a lot of like the top 100 of all time lists. Like that. Was,
Lower though.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's I think it's mostly for the camera
The
work.
bottom 100. No, 900 is good. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
decent.
fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So next week we have Joey Scow coming on for our Ghostbusters 2 / Happy New Year's episode. I would predict it's pretty good. I definitely haven't recorded it yet.
You want me to be on it, but I don't know if I can make it.
Okay. Well, we'll
You have
hold
to
up.
finish that movie.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see. Elliot might come back for it. There is a slight chance. But since I might not do this in the future, do you guys have anything to plug?
Tom Hanks Giving. Come check out the post episode. It's going to be brand new, and we have a back catalog of every Tom Hanks movie. And all these people have been on the show, so check out their episodes, which you should link in the description because I don't remember them all. The Burbs, Band of Brothers, Lady Killers.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll type all of them out.
Just check out the show.
Elliot?
Yeah, my podcast is done, but you can still listen to it. The entire story, all 3 seasons, are all there on iTunes. Beyond School. It is a sci-fi audio play about a teenage girl who does battle with evil aliens. And if you listen to episode 19, you have the After the Hype gang making some audio cameos. And Elvis is in episode 17.
I'm in one of those.
Yeah, he's in. You'll definitely notice because it's great.
Wow, what does that say about us? You'll definitely notice Elvis because it's great.
We're okay.
Elvis had more room to like develop the character. You guys were pretty much just being yourselves.
I was asking him for motivation and all that. I was really annoying.
He totally Daniel Day-Lewis did.
I
Like,
became that small blue alien.
He stopped being a visual person for a while and was only audio.
I had to say I liked a book. So I did not have that much space to grow.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. Granted, it's what did they say? Not small parts, small actors. So I fucked up myself. I apologize for ruining your episode.
Yeah, I almost just like had CHEWIE redub your line.
So in the new year, we have our first episode out of the gate will be very controversial. It should be fun. Or will it? Mother! Exclamation point. I hope we all enjoy it. Although I doubt we all
We need to
will.
find a hard-pressed atheist to come on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be on that episode. I liked it.
Oh, that's good. I really want to find somebody who just hates everything religion to come on, but I'm not sure we'll be able to find that person because I know a lot of atheists. I don't know a lot of people who just hate it.
Wait, it was about religion?
Or was it?
I mean, that's the cool thing about that movie. It's interpretive.
And then our battle for January is going to be worst movies ever. We are not battling for guilty pleasures. We are not battling for anything like that. Just fucking horrible movies. John, you can't use Superman for the Quest for Peace.
I think we already spent that.
So other than that, have a great Christmas. If you're listening to this on Christmas, if you've listened to it before, have a good Christmas when it gets there. If you don't celebrate Christmas, have a good whatever day Christmas lands on. I think it's a Monday.
The 25th.
Yeah? Is that it?
It's usually the 25th.
Yeah.
Is it ever not the 25th?
There was one day where it kind of decided it was going to skip.
Yeah.
Cool.
Went to 26. It was awkward.
The year without a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That's a
Wasn't he
good
fighting?
kid's movie.
Wasn't he like fighting the Martians?
We conquered them.
Yeah.
Bye!
Bye.